Hello everybody, welcome to theCUBE. A lot is going on, here's our lineup. Tor starts crowdfunding to rely less on US government support. Meet Plus Ventures, the VC that's fueling the startup nation. YouTube joins the copyright fight, offering to defend fair use cases. Is Apple purchase of FaceShift another step into the gaming world? Coming soon, a health tracking data gathering temp tattoo, and that's not even all. Here we go. And we're going to start by talking a little bit about money. Recently, we hosted Israeli startup GetJob here in the studio, an app designed to connect between employers and their next temp employees. We also talked to CallView, an Israeli startup developing a visual communication-based online customer service. What do those and many other promising startups have in common? Well, they are backed by Plus Ventures, a venture capital which aims to be the first to fund the next big thing. Once every often, we try to learn how these startup nation venture capitals operate and what it takes to be the next big or even a wildly acceptable small thing. So let's see a pitch by Startup Plus Ventures called Articulo before we'll ask them for some funding ourselves.
Are you trying to boost your website's ranking? Content is king, and that's exactly where Articulo can help. At Articulo.com, we craft unique content targeted to your audience and your keywords. There's no risk of duplicate content penalty, since every article is unique. And unlike articles from spinning software, Articulo's content is reader-friendly too. We'll help you gain more authority and more traffic. Get your top quality today by visiting Articulo.com.
With me in the studio is Yossi Moldavsky, CEO and founder of Plus Ventures. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Tell us a little bit about Plus Ventures. How did it come to be and what is its mission statement?
Okay, so Plus Ventures was co-founded by myself and by Dubi Lachovich. It's an early stage fund that invests in early technology, Israeli-related startups. Now within Plus Ventures, I think we created something that is quite unique. We have like 3 arms or 3 vehicles. The first is Plus Express. It's like being an angel. Up to $100,000 you can get literally within 72 hours. You can come just with an ID, a piece of paper, a presentation, and get the money. That's when we want to put our foot at the door, when we think there's a potential and we want to try it. So that's the first.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's something that is quite tempting for entrepreneurs that can come and really get money very, very quick.
And how responsive are you? I mean, I just send an email with an idea and I can get a pitch?
In general, we get almost 1,000 applications a year.
Okay.
So it varies. It depends if it's a cold mail or somebody introduced you to ourselves. But we go over, we read all of these 1,000 executive summaries, and then we choose with whom to speak on the phone, with whom to invite, and that's the process. But you can get the money really very quick. That's one of the strengths, I think, of the Plus Express, and it's appealing for entrepreneurs that need relatively small amount of money and really quick. Now the second arm or leg is an incubator, a licensed technology incubator, when you can get 2 million shekels, which is around a bit more than $500,000, and you get it together with an office space. You get it with, we are doing the bookkeeping for you, the legal stuff for you, the biz dev for you. We're helping you in everything we can. You sit physically within our offices. So that's the second vehicle. And the third one is Plusid, which aims to actually do follow-ons on the first 2 arms that we invest. So all in all, at the end of the day, it's one funnel, it's one team, but we have pockets. So you can get from $100,000 up to $1 million at a relatively very early stage.
And how do you choose which startups to invest in?
It's a good question, first of all. The most important thing, I would say, by far, is the team or the entrepreneurs. Much more important than the technology, than the market, than the valuation even. And I can tell you I've been investing in startups in the last 15 years or so. 15 years in technology, early stage investment, it's like 70 years in traditional investments. You know, we've been down and up and we learned a lot. It's like in dog years. So we gained a lot of experience and we learned that the team is much more important than everything else. The execution is much more important. So first of all,
the idea itself, you mean?
Then the idea itself, meaning we would love to find the best team with the best idea. But if I need to choose, let's say, the best team with the okay idea or the opposite, best idea with the okay team, I would go for the team. It's much more important. You need to be a great executor at the end of the day. we invest money in you, we try to help you, but at the end of the day, the team is leading the company, so that's the most important thing. The second, of course, is the technology, the idea itself, the market. Of course, all the Israeli startups are aiming internationally. The local market is really small. It's relatively do not exist.
But let's focus a bit about the team. So what makes a good team?
There are plenty of there's a list that I can talk about, but from my point of view, they need to be, I would say, honest. You need to have to feel the chemistry with them. At the end of the day, you're going to work with them and they're going to work with you. Whether it's a success or a failure, we're going to spend a lot of time together. So you want to be engaged with people that you believe, that you trust, that even if bad things will happen, they will report, they will react, they will be transparent. So this is really a good thing, important thing. On top of that, of course, they need the relevant experience, the knowledge, the commitment, the passion, and all the other obvious things.
Wow, super interesting. And you have a very impressive portfolio, but still, if I would ask you to choose some of your favorites, what would you choose?
It's like choosing your best, your favorite kid. I would say the ones that are, I wouldn't name them, but I would say the ones that are dealing with platforms that are relatively scalable, and you can duplicate it, and they are aiming for the international mass market. These are my favorites. At the end of the day, it concerns either with the team or with the idea itself. There is one startup that is called WSE Sports that deals with sports, and I love sports. So that startup is one of my favorites, and I think also they have a great potential. They are proceeding very, very well. At the end of the day, at day one, you trust and you believe in all of them, and then some turn to be a failure, some turn to be success. And at the end of the day, it's about the entrepreneurs, about the people. There are some entrepreneurs that I really admire, even if they didn't succeed, and I would invest in the next startup if they try. And there are some others that need less help, and they know to do the job themselves.
I'm curious about the statistic. I mean, how much is it as a risky investment? I mean, most of the investments you do, you get back, or most of them they go to the ocean, like you say?
Okay. First of all, I need to be at the end of the road so I can look back and tell you. But in general, we aim that we assume that about 50% of the startups will cease operation at the end of the day. So 50% of the money invested will go down. 30% will be successful. Another 10% will be very successful, and we are aiming for the 10% to be the unicorns that will compensate for the whole portfolio. Until now, I can tell you that I'm very pleased with what we've did. Of course, it's a long run, and you need to wait until the end result. I've in 15 years of investment, there were startups that were looking so promising, and at the end of the day, they turned out to be a failure. And there were some that were 2 weeks from shutting down the operation. At the end of the day, we sold them or floated them. So you need to wait until the end. But there are some very promising ones in our portfolio. And since we are investing relatively small amount at a very early stage, we get quite a big stake. And then you need to continue and contribute to the company, both in terms of money, because even if you start with a large percentage, you will get diluted. Even if the company is successful, they will raise more and more and more money. So you need to make sure that you get a decent equity chunk at day one, and also that you have deep pockets enough to continue and help the company.
You mentioned a few times about going international, but on the other side, it means that there's a big exit culture here in Israel. Yeah. Do you think that might be also kind of a problem?
I don't think so. In the past, there were people talking about Nokia and how we do not have these Nokias. And I said all the time, I think it's healthier to have plenty of companies, plenty of startups, not unicorns, but a lot of medium-sized, small-size, and it's okay to exit them. I think once we are good in Israel in technology, we know how to create company, we know how to launch company, we know how to establish operation. We are not that good at the end of the day in running big companies. We're not that good at international sales and marketing. So I think we should focus in what we do best. And if it means that we need to establish companies, take the first initial steps and then sell it to the next hand, I'm fine with that.
Very interesting. Yossi, thank you very much for coming and to talking with us.
Thanks. It was a pleasure.
Okay, we're moving on. Apple is not a corporation that buys a lot of companies from the outside, but when it does, it makes weird and exciting choices. Apple's latest startup pickup is FaceShift, a company that specializes in facial motion capture, often doing it without any need for physical markers on the model's face. The Cupertino giant confirmed the deal to TechCrunch. While a lot of FaceShift's technical demos focus on real-time animation with camera-based motion capture, it also works on improving facial CGI animation in movies and other medias. The company even did some work on the upcoming Star Wars movie. So is this Apple's step into big-budget gaming? We can only dream. Take a look.
The most difficult part of bringing a digital character to life is to make a very expressive character. About 2/3 of our communication is nonverbal, and digital characters can express this range of expressions through their design and through their animation, and that is a real challenge.
FaceShift is actually a Swiss startup. We're about 3 years old now, and we do motion capture technology, and it's about face tracking and using that to drive virtual characters. So FaceShift is based on depth cameras. That is cameras that can capture simultaneously the video of your face and also a depth image of your face.
We're very excited now to work with the Intel RealSense 3D camera because we can finally provide a seamless experience from software to hardware and make facial tracking really accessible to everyone.
Want to stay anonymous on the web? Well, it's not without a prize. The Tor project is asking its supporters to donate money so the nonprofit could continue to operate. The project kicked off a fundraising effort to further expand its online anonymity network and further back educational projects. The campaign is part of an effort by Tor to expand its cash flow beyond university grants and government handouts, which it mostly relies on. As a nonprofit, Tor opens its year-by-year financial records to the public. To help further the campaign, Tor enlisted the help of Citizen4 director Laura Poitras, who credited Tor with helping her stay in contact with NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. Confused about what Tor is? You are not alone. Here is a short explanation.
Right at this moment, if someone attempts to look you up, they will see your real identity, precise location, operating system, all the sites you have visited, the browser you used to surf the web, and so much more information about you and your life, which you probably didn't mean to share with unknown strangers who could easily use this data to exploit you. But not if you're using Tor. Tor browser protects our privacy and identity on the internet. Tor secures your connection with 3 layers of encryption and passes it through 3 voluntarily operated servers around the world, which enables us to communicate anonymously over the internet. Tor also protects our data against corporate or government-targeted and
Big news on the copyright front. Since its beginning, YouTube has been embroiled in long and bitter battles over copyright infringement. Over the years, the video streaming site has increased its policing of pirated material. But too often, says YouTube, the demands of copyright holders to take down videos go too far. Now, YouTube is taking the unusual step of financially supporting YouTube creators so they can fight back, offering legal support to a handful of videos which Google believes represent clear, fair uses. YouTube will also feature them in a special section of the site dedicated to showcasing strong example of fair use. So don't worry, upload people, Google has your back. Now listen up, people with tattoos. It seems your ink can do so much more than just be a pretty picture. An American firm is developing a high-tech tattoo consisting of components and conductive paint to create circuitry in human beings, which will in turn will transform the latter into a cyborg able to gather health and biometric data from the body. Chaotic Moon, Texas-based software design and development firm, is working to make the high-tech tattoo a reality. It's still in its initial stages. The tattoo will be able to gather and upload health and biometric data similar to Apple Watch. It will be able to scan body temperature and detect if someone is, well, tired on the basis of heart rate, sweat, and hydration levels. Take a look at the tattoo that puts your ink to shame.
So this is really going beyond what the fitness tracker is And we're right now looking into the medical field specifically because there's a lot of monitoring devices that take up a lot of room and space. So rather than going to the doctor once a year to get your physical, this tech tattoo could be something that you just put on your body once a year, and it monitors everything that they would do in a physical and sends that to your doctor. And if there's an issue, they could call you. So the tech tattoos can really tie in everything into one package. So it can look at early signs of fever, your vital signs, heart rate, everything that it needs to look at to notify you that you're getting sick or your child's getting sick. So another beautiful thing that tech tattoo kind of takes over and disrupts the market is in the banking industry. We carry wallets around and they're so vulnerable. With a tech tattoo, you could carry all your information on your skin, and when you want your credit card information or your ID, you can pull that up automatically through the system.
Interesting. You know, we've been talking a lot here about the tube, about people's will to put technology in our bodies. Branding it as a tattoo is an interesting twist because it's put emphasis on the, visual part of it and not about the technology part of it, or maybe about the combination. Interesting. Goodbye. That's it. See you tomorrow. Thank you.